Uh, we're honored today to have Joe Schiavoni from Youngstown, who's running for governor of Ohio as a Democrat. And first of all, we're going to have Joe give us a little background, his life training background that really long-term prepares one to run for governor.
Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity. You know, growing up in the Mahoning Valley and in the Youngstown area, I worked very similar jobs than many people here in Canton. I worked in a local butcher shop during high school. I worked on construction crews, landscaping crews, worked in a steel fab shop one summer during my breaks at Ohio University. I went to OU, I went to Capital Law School, came back, started representing injured workers with my father, doing workers' comp stuff. And that, to me, I traveled a lot to Canton, to the Industrial Commission right down the street here, represented a lot of people from Stark County as well. I got appointed in the Senate in 9, ran in 10, ran in 14, became the minority leader in 2013, and worked on a lot of issues that, for me, were quality of life issues for not only the people at home, but the people throughout the state. And so it's been an honor for me to serve in the Senate, and now I'm going to run for governor, and we're doing the same kind of thing that I did when I started in the Senate. I didn't have any political experience, but what I knew, and I was taught how to treat people, and so I knew that that was the way that I was going to go about this campaign, was to go around, talk to people about what's important to them, and actually listen, and then base legislation based on the needs of the people, not what's best for me or what's best for Democrats or what's best for a certain group. It's what's best for the people, and then you develop the legislation that way. But I fought a lot of things in the Senate. I fought for injured workers. I fought in the Golden Gloves in high school in Youngstown. So it kind of trained me. You got to be dedicated to what you want to do. You have to make sure that every day you're working to do the best that you can, and put your best foot forward every day. And that's what I know how to do, and that's how I'm going to do this.
Now, looking at campaign material from your website and from articles that have been written about you generally in the media, you billing yourself as the working person's candidate?
Yeah, I go to places and I talk to people, like I said, about what's important to them. And what's important to people right now are nuts and bolts, basic issues. Good job, good school for their kids, feel safe when they're walking down the street in their communities. We got to do something about the drug epidemic. We have to make sure that we have long-term sustainable clean water, good roads. It's basic needs that people expect of their government, but we've been falling short because of what the Republicans have done with local government funding for schools. They've given all the money back to the rich people in taxes and tax incentives and cuts, and when you don't have any tax base coming in, then you can't invest it. You don't have any money to invest in roads. You don't have any money to invest in schools. You don't have any money to invest in local government funding so they can provide services for addiction and for mental health. You just don't have the resources, and so that's why everybody's been starved out, and that's why in every community that I go to, you see 1,000 levies on the ballot when it comes to election time, because they're not being funded properly from the state, so they got to go back and beg people for money through levies. Same thing with stormwater sewer systems and infrastructure upgrades. The state isn't investing in that. So what you see is when cities are going into these huge plans in order to upgrade their water systems, they got to tack user fees on the people and make the people today pay for the investments of the future and tomorrow. It's unfair. You have to make sure that when you have investments, those are taxpayer dollars that are going for the benefit of everybody in the state. And so just doing the old-fashioned tax cuts to the wealthy that started years and years ago, that doesn't work. But that's what this General Assembly and this governor's done.